Yeah, people. You want success. You want success. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. We're in a war. We're in a war like you would not believe. So here's the thing, people. In the aftermath of a very, very young and very, very successful fashion designer, Kate Spade, bag designer, shoe designer, taking her own life just recently, we then hear the news of this guy, Anthony Bourdain, the very, very successful TV chef, millions in the bank, loads of adoring fans, and this is traveling the world. This man has now taken his life, 61 years old. This isn't a youngster where all his hormones are all over the place and going through issues. This is a guy that you would look at and think, man, he's lived life. He's lived life. He's more older, he's more mature, he's wiser, he's more settled within his life. 61, and he checks out. But let me tell you, listen, the war is on. My Monday motivation was all about that we're in the war, we're all in a battle, but it's more sinister and more insidious than you could ever imagine. Now, here's the thing. I like to analyze stuff, and especially after seeing a post here on LinkedIn just earlier today, and it said about Anthony Bourdain, about him being 44 and about him being 61, and it showed the comparison. 44 years old, debt-ridden, recovering drug addict, didn't have a bank account, living in poverty, and then it goes fast forward to 61 years old, where he's got 16 million in the bank, multi-award winning show, travels the world, loads of adoring public, and it said, this is the message: see, it's never too late to get success. It's never too late to get success. And yeah, it's true. I mean, that's true. You can't argue with that. But I would argue the fact that that's only the cherry on top of the cake. That's only the cherry on top of the cake, because what I did is I took that post, I took it into the lab, I took it into the workshop, and I analysed it. And I like to analyse this guy. I like to analyse Anthony Bourdain. And that's exactly what I did. And here's what I've come up with. What you will see is in the high percentage, the high 60%, it will say that people that commit suicide did not show any form, or did not let on, or did not have any form of mental health before they took their own life. So when you look at the age of 44 and you look at the situation that he was in, if he had checked out back then, you would say, man, that's sad. But I can kind of see why he done it. The situation that he was in, he couldn't see any end to being in poverty and no money and drug addict and all this, that and the other. You would say, yeah, it's sad, but I can see why he's done it. But then you fast forward to when he's 61 and the game changes. So he takes his life at 61, and you think to yourself, did he not have a mental health issue? If he didn't have a mental health issue, man, that's proper worrying. That is insidious. That's insidious that he took his own life. Why? Why did he take his own life? Why did he just come to that conclusion? Why did he just come to that decision that is how it's got to be? But the thing is if he did have a mental health issue and he pulled it through with him, it goes to show that he was hiding it well. It was hiding it well. And listen, I'm going to be upfront. I'm going to be truthful, because I've stated it before with the work in which I do, the people in which I deal with. You look at their Instagram posts, you look at their social media posts, and from the outside looking in, because that's all we're doing with Anthony Bourdain, is we're looking at it from the external. You have to look at the internal and what was going on inside that man. And it's exactly the same with the people that I deal with on social media. You look from the external, you would look that their life is perfect, that they've got things sussed, they're beautiful, they're handsome, they're in a loving relationship. But then they're messaging me saying, James, I've got suicidal thoughts, I'm panic stricken, I've got anxiety, I've got depression, James, please help me, please help me. So they're very, very good at putting on a poker face. And here's the thing, and LinkedIn's no different. LinkedIn's no different. I've experienced that. I've experienced that recently, and there'll be people, and they know who they are, that they come out and that's all they want to do is put out content and put out video and listen, expand their brand, and then behind the scenes they're asking for help because they're in the darkness. Listen, I'm not saying don't ask for help. Please, please, please don't think that that's the case. But what I'm saying is people are putting on a front. They're putting on a poker face. They're more concerned, and this is what links in with my talk about priorities, so tell me that the preacher don't know what he's on about. They're more concerned about putting out this content than what they are slaying the giant of depression and anxiety and worry. They're more interested. Now, I'm going to give it to you very, very easy now. Listen, easy to understand, the 5Gs, the 5Gs. They're more interested in the glitz and the glamour than what they are the grit and the grime and slaying the Goliath. They're more interested in the glitz and the glamour, getting towards the glitz and the glamour, than what they are the grit and the grime and slaying the Goliath that's in front of you. And the Goliath is the depression, the Goliath is the anxiety and the worry and the post-traumatic stress disorder and some mental health issue in any shape, way or form, and your troubles and your sufferings. You have to address the giant before you go for the glamour. Do you understand? So here's the thing. Then you pull it forward to when he's 44. If he did have a mental health issue, if he did have a mental health issue when he was 44 and he dragged it through, because if he didn't, like I say, that's mind-blowing that he made that decision. But if he did have the mental health issue and he pulled it through with him from 44 years old, it may even been before, but he pulled it through with him when 61, 16 million in the bank, multi-award winning show, millions of adoring fans, traveling the world. Isn't that what the world and what the culture and our society tells us will make us happy? It's a prime example that the success isn't big enough and it isn't powerful enough to slay the Goliath. You have to go humbly. You have to go on your own and make that decision and stand before the giant like David did with the most simplest of weaponry. There's no advanced weaponry. There was no army behind him. It's just you yourself and your character and your personality and your perseverance and your resilience and your inner will to stand there. And that's what your slingshot is. All the stuff that I've just listed, and you have to stand in front of that giant and face it up and slay it. Because if David can do it with a slingshot, then so can you. The shepherd beat the giant, beat Goliath, and you can do exactly the same. Because all that stuff, it just goes to show that it's not powerful enough. The success isn't powerful enough to beat the giant. So what's important, people? The world will tell you that you need to get that success. And listen, there's nothing wrong with progress. There's nothing wrong with bettering yourself, but take it at a pace, because you may be comparing yourself to other people and you want to get to a level, you want to get to somewhere where they are, and you haven't even put in a quarter of the time yet. You haven't put in quarter of the energy, quarter of the focus, quarter of your time and your resources and your finances. You haven't done a quarter of it yet you want to be where these people are. Don't go wishing for stuff that could come back and properly bite you in the behind. And all this stuff like success, like I say, that our world and our culture and our society will tell you that will make you happy, just goes to show that even if you have a mental health issue, 16 million in the bank, millions of adoring fans, multi-award winning show, traveling the world, isn't powerful enough for the giant. Isn't powerful enough for the giant. So what's important? They will tell you, our culture and our society and others will tell you that will fulfill you. But there's a massive difference between being fulfilled and feeling full. You can go to an all-inclusive buffet and just eat and eat and eat and eat. And then after about an hour and a half, man, you're undoing your top button of your trousers, you're putting your belt on another notch, you know, the notch below, and you're saying, that's it, I'm never eating again, never eating again. And then you'll get in the car, you'll go home, 3 hours later, you're in the fridge looking, snacking, because you're peckish again. That's feeling full. Feeling full is very, very temporary. You have to go and get fulfillment. And you know what that fulfillment is? Listen, fulfillment lasts. Fulfillment lasts a lifetime. Because even when the bad times come, you can look back on that fulfillment that you got and be content and be satisfied with that. And what is that fulfillment? The fulfillment is standing in front of the giant with your slingshot, with everything you got, something that has come at you to hurt you, because we are in this war, we're in this battle, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, emotionally, all this stuff. We are in this battle, and the fulfillment will come, that this thing will come to you, that even if it leaves scarring, emotional scars, physical scars, psychological scars, spiritual scars, all these mental scars, if it leaves scars, then it's good, because do you know what? Scars are a trophy and a testament. It shows you and other people that you were stronger than what life sent to destroy you. And that fulfillment will come if you stand before the giant. So don't go putting success in front of the giant, because the giant's too big, too powerful, too strong. Stand before your Goliath right now with this mental health issue. We are people in this together. There's a battle on, there's a war on. And what I'm going to say to you is, listen, soldiers, fall in, carry on marching. Tomorrow, we fight again. Blessings.